Hey there, welcome back. I have a bit of catching up to do on TickTick updates. So there's been a few updates that have happened over the last couple of weeks and couple of months that I haven't touched on yet on this YouTube channel. So in this video, we'll go check out the TickTick changelog and see what's new in TickTick. All right, so I've got the TickTick changelog pulled up here, and I'm going to scroll down. Let's see. Let's start in February. So February 5th, they had a new major update, which was Notion integration. Now, to be honest, I don't use Notion. I've signed up for it. I've checked it out a little bit. It didn't appeal to me that much, and I know that there's probably a lot of people that are very excited about this Notion integration. I just don't happen to be one of them, and I don't really have the time or inclination to go test this and check it out. So I'm going to pass on all the Notion integrations. But if you use Notion and you've set up this Notion integration with TickTick, let us know in the comments. Is it working well for you? Let us know. But let's scroll up to the next update, which is February 8th. So on February 8th, they said they had a new feature, which is they added link parent task. And it says you can now right-click on a task and select link parent task to easily search for and link the parent task, streamlining multi-level task management. All right, so let's go check that out in TickTick. All right, let's start just by creating two tasks. We'll call it new task 1 and parent task. Now what they say is that I can right-click on a task. So I'll right-click on new task 1. Link parent task is right there. And then it brings up a list of recently created tasks. So my parent task is right here, which is what I'm going to select. But before I do, I just want to check out this search functionality because it looks like, this list is a little short. I have a lot of tasks in here, but can I search across all of my TickTick? So that's interesting. So you can search across all of your TickTick, because I did find my put trash cans out task that I have. But did you notice that it was case sensitive? So I first typed in trash with a capital T, and nothing comes up. But if I go and change my capital T to lowercase, then it finds the task. So that's a little interesting, and something to be aware of if you're using this search. But let me go back to the recently created tasks and just select parent tasks so we can see what this functionality actually does. So what it did was it moved my new task 1 under the parent task and made my new task 1 a subtask of parent task. Is that easier than just the drag and drop? So like if I wanted to move this, the devil takes you home, my book notes under parent task as a subtask, I would just drag this left handle over here and move it there, and now it's a subtask. Is the new functionality easier? I don't think it's easier. Maybe they just felt that functionality was missing, that, if you right click on a task, you see add subtask, and maybe they thought, well, maybe there's cases or a lot of cases where people already have tasks, they're just listing tasks, and now they want to go back and move them under a parent task. But again, I don't know. This is a bit of a weird one for me. I don't think that this is something that was really needed, but we have it now. And so link parent task is now in the right-click menu. All right, back to the changelog. The other thing that's mentioned here under February 8th is that there's optimized link editing, and it says this is an improvement. So it says simply hover over a link to reveal a shortcut menu, making it easier to edit and copy the link. All right, so let's go make a link. So if I just type a URL, for example, google.com, this will automatically become a link. So I can come up here and I can click this now, and it will take me to google.com. But what the improvement is they're saying now I can hover over this link, and I get this context menu, which has a couple options here. So the first one is edit link. And this pulls up a little box here where I can change the URL, where I can change the text that's displayed. So instead of having to say google.com, now I can have it say Google homepage. And if I hover again, I get the context menu to pop up again. And now on the right side, the other option is copy link. So if I click this, it will copy the link. I can take this anywhere else to Notepad or to a different task. And let's say I just want to paste it here. I'm going to hit Control V and it pastes my link there. So one interesting thing to note there is that it copies the URL. So not the link name that I entered, because I entered Google homepage as the display of the link name. Here it just copies the URL and you're pasting the URL. So I think that one is an improvement. That makes it easier to come in here to any link, just hover over it and grab the URL. All right, let's go back to the changelog. All right, scrolling up. The next one is from February 21st. It says this is a new feature. It says you can now hold the Alt key for Windows or the Option key for Mac to see full task times in Task View and checkboxes in Calendar View, streamlining your workflow. All right, so I was a little bit confused by this one originally because I'd read it wrong. All this time I thought it said to see the full task names in Task View, which I thought would have been pretty useful because sometimes you have, really long task names, and it would be kind of cool to just hold the Alt key and see the full task name in your list view. But that's not what this says. This says the full task times. So let's go check that out. So on my new task 1, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select a time of 11 a.m. And let's actually make this a duration. So 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. That sounds pretty good. All right, so once I hit OK, you can see in my list view, I just have the start time of 11 a.m. And if I'm somewhere else, right now I can see it up here, but if I'm, on a different task, I can't see that. And what it's saying is if I hit the Alt key and hold it, I can now see the end time as well. So I can see on new task 1, starts at 11 a.m., ends at 12 p.m. So one thing to note is that it's not an immediate. It almost takes about a second to bring that up. So I'm hitting the Alt key now, and now it shows it. So there is a slight delay to be aware of. All right, let's go check out the calendar view. All right, so there's my new task 1, scheduled from 11 a.m. to noon. And the other thing that the changelog said was that I can hit the Alt key here, and it will show me the checkboxes. So I see a checkbox now next to new task 1. I also see checkboxes up here in the all day tasks, and you can check them and uncheck them just like you would anywhere else in TickTick. Once you let go of Alt, that checkbox goes away. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a useful feature. Flipping back to the changelog, let's scroll up. March 4th, they enhanced the Notion integration. Looks like they made some two-way sync of tags and priorities with Notion. Again, I'm not going to go check that out today. Let us know in the comments if you use that and if it works well. Scrolling up some more, we get to March 19th, which is the last update that TickTick put out. Now, this has 2 new things. So the first one says, supported batch operations in Calendar View. It says, hold the Control key for Windows or the Command key for Mac, and at the same time, click or drag the mouse to select multiple tasks for batch operations, including right-click to delete tasks or drag to adjust task times. All right, let's go check that out. All right, so back in the calendar view, this time instead of holding Alt, I'm going to hold Control. And it says I can either drag my mouse and select all these tasks. So it doesn't look like I can select my all-day tasks and my scheduled tasks using the mouse drag. So I'm going to select these 2 tasks up here. Then I'm going to come down here and click to get this one. So now I have all 3 of these selected. It says I can right-click to delete. That's an option. Apparently that was something that users have been asking for, is to be able to right-click a bunch of calendar entries and delete them. Not sure, because it looks like you can also do a lot of other things like mark them all as done. or mark them all as undone. You can do any of these batch operations. I'm not sure why they mentioned just delete. Can we convert them all to notes? Looks like one of them is a subtask, so it's not going to let me. What if I make this not a subtask? And then I go back and try to convert to note. And yeah, it did convert those tasks to notes. You can see two of them over here on the right side in my inbox. New task 1 and thoughts for Rob are both notes now. Let me convert those back to tasks. All right, so the other thing that it said was that you can drag and move them around on the calendar. Now, it looks like it's only moving my scheduled task and not moving my all-day tasks. That's kind of what I would expect. So let me unselect all these for a minute and let me schedule these out here. All right, now if I hold the control key and use my mouse to drag over all of them, I can move them around all at the same time. So one thing to note here is that you're using control to select them at the same time, but you don't need to keep holding control to do these other options. So right now I've got my hands off of the keyboard. I'm not holding control anymore, and I can still just move these around all together at the same time. And if I right click, I can still do any of those options as well. All right, so how do you unselect 3 at a time? What if I only want to just move new task 1 now? Well, I can just click on new task 1, and now it unselects all 3 of them, and now I can just drag this one if I want to. All right, back to the changelog. The second new feature put out on March 19th is they added a postpone feature. It says, if delays disrupt your schedule, you can now select multiple tasks and click postpone to postpone them by 1 hour. All right, let's go check it out. So again, I'm going to hit control to select multiple tasks. That was the idea. And so let's say that something has come up and I need to postpone all of my tasks for the day by 1 hour. So once I highlight all of my tasks, you'll see this menu comes up down here at the bottom. And there's a couple different options, but a new one is postpone. It's the second icon from the left. And if I click on that, I get a couple of options. I can postpone by 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 1 day, 1 week, or I can enter a custom amount of time. All right, so let's go try the 1 hour postpone. So you'll see my first task for the day is at 8 a.m. and my next task is about 10:15 a.m. So if I postpone by 1 hour, I would expect this one to go to 9 and this one to go to 11:15. So let's go ahead and give it a try. 1 hour. And it moves all 3 tasks. This one's now at 9, this one's at 11:15, just like we would expect. So again, I think that's a useful feature that TickTick has put out. All right, so that covers all of the new updates that TickTick has put out in the last couple of weeks or months, except for the Notion integration. Again, if you use the Notion integration, please let us know in the comments what you think of it. So that's another point I want to make. Please go read the comments of my videos because people are sharing their TickTick knowledge, and you'll get a lot more TickTick tips and tricks from other users making comments, and not just from me, but there's a lot of useful stuff in the comments. So go check those out. But that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.